they try to pretend they don't know RBN exists, but they know we exist, fam. They do this thing where they looking at us, trying to pretend they not looking at us. You know, they write articles about us like they're like some people on the left say AOC are sellouts. They will never name us. There's a rule. You are not allowed to reference or acknowledge RBN ever. Generally, they all know who we are. I know that for a fact because a lot of these TYT and Bernie people used to follow me, fam. The same people who used to follow me now like, nigga, don't look at that nigga Nick. That nigga crazy. You know what I mean? So you want to know who finally acknowledges our existence in the most hilarious way ever? Mediaite. So they released this a few days ago. This is August 28th. And I'm like, I had to get to this. Look at who made this propaganda graft. So
what? How did I miss this? I've never, Nick.
No,
I've never heard of this before. I haven't seen this.
I'm so glad. I went to ambush you with this story, CJ. That's why I didn't tell you. This article is absolutely glorious, fam. Absolutely glorious in every way fucking possible. And this segment I'm about to do is exactly why I'm glad that we do propaganda reports, CJ. We show you guys what those psychopaths say on MSNBC and CNN, and you guys like, oh my god, these people are fucking. These people are so crazy. Why are you guys even showing us? Everyone knows these people are crazy. No, they don't, fam. When we show you guys more than Joe, I look at the chat. You guys are like as perplexed as we are when we watch this stuff. It's unbelievable the rank propaganda that you see on corporate media. So, in order to combat this loss of faith, Washington, D.C. put think tanks together, and they now rating the accuracy and the journalistic integrity and bias of cable's news network. If you look at this graph, let's see if I can zoom in some more. They got a ton of people on here. A lot of people with big names. Looking at this list,
that look like our logo.
I think we have the lowest subscriber count on everyone on this list. But they put us on this list because these motherfuckers see and hear us, CJ. If you look at this list, we have the lowest subscriber count of people who made this list. Because we were making people like, who are these black young people that's preaching revolutionary discipline? They got mutual aid chapters, nigga. The establishment is like looking at us while not pretending to look at us. For example, they put us on the chart because they want people to know that we are the most biased piece of shit network that there is. But
wait, can you blow it up one more level? Can you go?
I'm gonna see if I can zoom one more level. That's like I think that's the farthest.
If you can, I'm gonna see if I can look at my other screen and see it.
Yeah, I think I can. Let's see what I can do. Twitter is really hard. Well, this site is really hard to work with.
Oh, it's on. Yeah, it could be hard to go further. I can see it on my other screen. I just got to look at my other screen over here.
And I'm gonna explain what you see here because they outline it. I'm gonna read the article too.
Wow, I'm just looking at the top left, so I'm looking at my TV screen.
So if you guys can't see
that corner left says most extreme.
I'm gonna explain, CJ. I'm gonna explain. Yeah, listen to this. Listen to the graph. This graph is glorious, fam. This going in their history book. So they mix the graph in two ways, CJ. On the horizontal axis is how far you are politically and partisan wise. And in the article, they said in the modern age, we all got to acknowledge that most people have some sort of political bias. So we're going to rank this chart on people who are biased politically, but you can be biased politically while at the same time reporting on facts and not being biased and spreading propaganda. So on the top part, horizontally, rank how far left you are versus far right you are. Look at who makes the farthest to the left, fam. Nigga, they like put RBN way the fuck out there. What
like
the fuck?
Nobody's even touching. You see how the other ones are clustered? It's us and then one right below us. We're not touching anybody else, Nick.
Yes.
No one else is even overlapping us. They're like, put them niggas over there, over there.
They see RBN and they are horrified, CJ. They're like, nigga, we don't even know what kind of leftism this is. This is crazy. Nigga, why are we allowing these niggas to talk? This is wild. Nigga, put them on the most extreme left as possible on this graph. So now if you look at the top to bottom, and I'm gonna read a little bit of the article, they're gonna explain this. And this absolutely is a badge of honor, Matt. Absolutely. I see some of you guys comment. I can't pull all of them up, but I see you guys for the most part. This absolutely is a badge of honor. Because when you read this article, you will see what absolute kind of garbage propaganda this is. I don't want to spoil. I'm not spoiling. I want to read it to you guys. But from up to down, on the top, it shows the people, despite their bias or not, they report original reporting, high effort, and then scales like from the top, you're reputable, you tell the truth. Even if you have biases, you're not going to allow that bias to inform your reporting. That's on top, right? Now, the further you get, you have people who are not trusted. So look just above us here, just above where we ranked at. They say have analysis on wide variation in reliability. So sometimes they're reliable, sometimes they are not. Then slightly above us, opinion or wide variation in reliability. So they say these are mostly people who spread opinions, but they're not really that reliable. You want to know where they put us at, CJ? We are near the bottom of the list. They hate our fucking guts, fam. Now, Leak Camp pisses them off more, right? OANN pisses them off more because it's like the far right network that liberals hate. This is definitely a liberal ass propaganda shit. And you guys will see more as I read the article. But they put us at here. This is where they put us, CJ. Selective or incomplete story, unfair persuasion, or propaganda. Fam, in the chat, they said we are selective and we have incomplete storytelling. Nigga, who's the only people telling you the truth about the Ukraine war? The history of the Ukraine war? Who's the only people telling you the history about China and Taiwan? In corporate news, they don't cover this at all. And then they say, look, this is my favorite part. We engage in unfair persuasion. We're too persuasive, CJ.
You unfair. You know what that means, Nick? Unfair persuasion. You know what that means? Effective persuasion. Yeah. You're being unfair because we can't combat your truth, sir. But I'm curious, Nick. Who's at the top? Who are some of the ones?
No, I'm gonna get to that. I may be a little bit long-winded.
I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to spoil it.
I'm gonna speed it up. I'll speed it up. I'm a little bit long-winded here. I'll speed it up. But look at the last part. So we are selective. We tell an incomplete story. We engage in unfair persuasion. And the last part, we engage in propaganda. And that part, I would say I am guilty as charged because I ain't never at one point ever say that I was an unbiased journalist. I am here to represent the perspective of the working class. I am here to represent the perspective of poor Black Midwestern boys who are not represented in the media at all. So I am spreading propaganda on behalf of our community. The people are unheard. So when they hear a college dropout, person with a speech impediment speak, they're like, this is propaganda. This is craziness. This is most extreme left nonsense. Which, once again, that's the only part. The last part is the only part I would concede to. I started RBN from the very beginning. I told you guys, I am only interested in one goal. I am trying to get Black people out of the Democratic fucking party. I am trying to get as many people class conscious as possible. I want people to turn against our imperialist, capitalist government. So yes, in a sense, I engage in propaganda. In a sense.
So Nick, we have the most extreme left propaganda. I don't see nothing wrong with that title. I'll take that title. Put it on the shirt, Aaron. Put it on the shirt. RBN has the most extreme left propaganda according to Mediaite. Go ahead.
Yes, it's a fact. That's literally a fact, fam. According to Mediaite, we are the most extreme left pro-working class propaganda network there is. But I add this analysis because they don't write about it in the article, CJ. They're like, nigga, we can't give any
no references at all, no links, no nothing. Because this picture.
I'm gonna read the analysis, because the analysis explains the top part of the graph, which I'm trying not to touch on right now, because what they write about it is complete horseshit. Hold on, I gotta refresh for some reason. Here you go. So let's read this. It's not a long article. Actually, it is, but I'm gonna skim a lot of it. Here's the premise behind the story. Questions related to bias, objectivity, and accuracy in news hang over every media outlet, journalist, and news consumer. While nothing new to the news industry, understanding which news sources are reliable and in which direction they lean has been an increasingly daunting task given the mass proliferation of news outlets and the rise of infotainment. Furthermore, in a time of bad actors, misinformation, and a political class blurring the lines between statement and media figures, members of Congress hosting cable shows, for example, the question of who to trust has never been more important for the health of our democracy. So they are here to tell you who you should trust.
They're afraid. They're afraid of the narrative has been lost. They know the control of the narrative is gone, and they are trying to. They're trying to rein it in. This is such a badge of honor. This is such a badge.
Yeah, bro, CJ, they are terrified, fam. So they have the right wing people. They have, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, CJ, but they have
now, Nick, do you understand? Now, do people believe that we're being suppressed?
Yes.
So they're just writing articles and calling us the most extreme left, but YouTube is not doing nothing about it. Twitter's not doing nothing about it. Do you know, Nick? I get like 50 new people who follow me on Twitter, but I've been at the same count for several months. They've been fucking with all our profiles, I get 50 new people every day. This is crazy how we're being suppressed, but we see we're on their radar. We are being heavily suppressed, everybody. Hit that like button. Go ahead, Nick. Hit that like button.
So Mediaite is one of the most well-known liberal media watchdog outlets. Anyone who's been paying attention know they're pretty much a Democratic Party propaganda outlet. The same way that fact checkers, like PolitiFact, worked for the Hillary Clinton campaign. The Democratic Party essentially hijacked all these fact-checking and media bias websites. The Mediaite is one of them as well. Because when you read this article, they have extreme hatred for everyone on the right side of that graph as well. When you look at the right bottom, let's go to the right bottom again. And they're going to list some of these people off in this article. But look at the right bottom. So we the most extreme left. Look, they hate Alex Jones. They pay Alex Jones more than anyone. Look, Alex Jones right there. I see Jesse Waters. Because Jesse Waters goes after Hunter Biden. He went to Russia. Like, I have no respect for the guy, but he goes after all the liberal talking points. So he's one of the people they hate. He's the new guy at Fox. Like, Fox is pushing him to be the new Tucker Carlson. I don't know how successful that is, but that's just a fact. He's the new face of the network. So they got him there. They hate his guts. They hate Lee Camp. Lee Camp is someone who they can't ignore. For some reason, they don't have the Hill Rising. They don't have breaking points on here as well. And I only noticed that because there's a comment here. This comment I put on the screen, that's the only reason I noticed that. That's weird. You see TYT? They pretend TYT's fucking left, right? The only part about that that's accurate is hyper-partisan left, but they're not left. But I see what they're saying. But you guys see ONN, the most far right is also hated the same way we are. They see us, fam, and they are terrified. So to fight this new wave of independent media, you got Mediaite, you got Fact Checker, PolitiFact. All these people are waging war on independent media, especially extreme, far left, dangerous media outlets like RBN. I can't wait to start saying that. RBN, the most far left.
I know. That's our title. That's our title. That's our new subtitle right there.
Yeah. So listen to this absolute garbage. So I mentioned earlier in a bit that I own being a working class propagandist. Like I'm advocating for my community unapologetically. Every segment I do skews towards the working class because that's how all politics is, in my opinion. Right. So I own that. But what makes this so comical and make this, ironically, the highest form of propaganda is they say we are a malicious, ranked version of propaganda, but MSNBC and Fox News, CNN, especially CNN, is the most reputable news organization. Look, MSNBC comes in third place with a 31 reliability rating. So here they are pretending that CNN, Fox News Nation, MSNBC, look how much higher on the graph they are than we was. Like we was around right here. They view MSNBC, CNN, these people who we dismantle every episode. This is exactly why we do propaganda report, because we show you guys how ridiculous what they say is so absurd. Like you guys in the comments be watching it in horror. Like how anyone can fall for this. But according to Mediaite, these are the real truth tellers in political discourse. Now, I'm gonna wrap my segment up soon because I don't want this to be too long. But look at these next two paragraphs, especially the second one is unbelievable. Especially consider how much propaganda report we have done. So, listen to this. Looking at different hours of cable news television shows, the disparity within the cable news network when it comes to reliability. The morning shows, for example, chart as more reliable than the networks as a whole. So listen to CJ.
Joe?
No, yeah, this part literally, my floor hit the ground like a cartoon. Like I flipped my shit when I read this article, this part here. Let's listen to this part. Fox and Friends charted at 30.7 for reliability, higher than Fox overall. Morning Joe, skimming a little bit ahead, MSNBC Morning Joe is the most reliable of the top 3 cable news. What? They gave Morning Joe a 36.8 for mix of fact reporting and analysis or simple fact reporting. Fam.
Well, you know, that just calibrates this whole article. It's flipped, everybody. So what the stuff that they're saying that we fall in the category is the stuff that Morning Joe, and the stuff they're saying about Morning Joe at the top is us. You flipped this. Yep. That's all this stuff. You're calibrating us this article by telling us about Morning Joe scoring the highest. Get the fuck out of here.
If you guys don't believe it, I know you guys watch RBN, so you guys seen our Morning Joe segments. They are the funniest segments that we do. They are beyond parody, and they are rank propaganda. Especially they're just seeing this Ukraine segment. I just saw on CNN. CNN is ranked as highly reliable. MSNBC had another China segment, fear mongering China. Every single one of the foreign policy segments, we can't even get through 2 sentences without explaining to you guys why what they are saying is propaganda. And I am not exaggerating. When I don't stop the video, I could. I just don't. Every sentence that they say is coordinated, programmed lies to get you to support the pro-war position. But according to Mediaite, they are the most reliable fact-based reporting. Meanwhile, RBN, who report on the Banderite neo-Nazis in Ukraine, the same thing that MSNBC and CNN used to talk about before the war, we are spreading propaganda and we are telling an incomplete story, CJ. So when Morning Joe tells you guys about Taiwan, they're telling you the whole story, even though they never bring up the one China policy. Me, who explained to you strategic ambiguity, the one China policy, I explained to you guys the history of how the United States had to acknowledge Taiwan to get on diplomatic relationships after they split in the early 70s. You had Taiwan that was part of China for hundreds of years that they originally lost because of Japanese imperialism. They never, ever told you guys that on any of these shows. But RBN is the channel that's telling you an incomplete story and misleading, according to Mediaite. Once again, this is a great honor because you can take this table and flip it. Alex, listen to this. Rachel Maddow scored a 36th.
What?
Fact-based reporting. You know the person who literally said in court that she's an entertainer that no one should take seriously. So Mediaite claims they're a non-affiliated, a nonpartisan group. That's why I say this segment is hilarious because, ironically, they're engaging in the highest form of propaganda in this article because they are being partisan propagandist hacks. Because if you read this whole article, I'm sparing you guys time here because actually they explain every person they list here. But listen to this: Hannity, which I will agree with, has a reliability rating of only 19, putting it in propaganda territory. But Rachel Maddow is literally 2 times more reliable than Hannity, according to the media.
What?
So Hannity propaganda, Rachel Maddow facts. This is just Democratic Party propaganda. And if you read the whole article, that is literally what it is. I'm trying to find. This is one part I want to read where they like really go after Jesse Waters, because they do the same thing with like when you look at Jesse Waters, here he is. He like Jesse Waters pretty much is badass OAN. This last part I read, I'll move on. Because you can see the disdain, right? They gave Chris Cuomo 30, which is reliable. They're like, yeah, Chris Cuomo a little bit biased. They're like, Chris Cuomo's a little bit biased. We give him a -5 on bias. He's just a little biased.
Chris Cuomo, the one that got fired?
Joy Reid fared a bit better. She's 23% reliable, fam. Joy Reid. They acknowledge that Joy Reid is crazy biased, though. They gave her a -20. Where's -20 on the chart? So Joy Reid on the chart, well, this that part broke, is around. Yeah, she's not anywhere near where we at, and not anywhere near. She's like just skimming this again. She's the one that they admit is the most biased. They gave Chris Hayes a -18, but other than that, every single news show, Anderson Cooper's -13. They acknowledge that he's a liberal, but every single person that they acknowledge as being a left wing bias, they give high reliability scores. Anderson Cooper 38, dude, that's sky high on this graph. Sky high.
Anderson Cooper, the guy that went after Cornell West. Go ahead.
I'll wrap this up soon because I don't want this to be too long. Fox News, Jesse Waters, primetime. They hate him. Remember, they hate Jesse Waters and his aligned right. These are the people that go after Hunter Biden. I see him very aggressively going after Democrat talking points, using MAGA talking points. They hate that guy. Like, he's the new Tucker Carlson. Like, he's not as he's an order of magnitude and less significant, but he's like the Jesse Waters version of Tucker Carlson, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
I totally get it.
But Jesse Waters charted a low 16 reliability. That's around where we at. So they view RBN as the same level as Jesse Waters in terms of reliability.
This is rank propaganda. This is rank propaganda for you to say literally 2 of this. What did we say before this? So people can't say we're just making this up for this article. We've said this in many streams going back a year. There's top propagandists. Morning Joe is one of them. We said that Rachel Maddow was another, and we said that Tucker Carlson. These are top 3 propagandists, and 2 of them, they're saying they tell the truth. Yeah. Like, that is so telling. I don't need to know anything about the funding of media. Your ranking of these liars tells me all I need to know, regardless of who's funding you.
Look at David Pakman. They got a lot of respect for David Pakman. I didn't see this earlier. Look at that. David Pakman is up there. Yes, David Pakman is, according to them, about 3 times more reliable and trustworthy than we are. Like, we did maybe 2 or 3 propaganda. We haven't touched David Pakman that much, but the few times we did touch David Pakman, we literally were just laughing at how childlike his worldview was.
Bad at it.
He's a bad propagandist, but he has the respect of the establishment, fam. They put him up there with Rachel Maddow. Look, they're right next to each other. Holy shit. Who else got their flowers by the establishment? They think TYT is good. They got TYT is around the same where Alex Wagner is at. Now that I look at this graph again, it's very interesting.
Is Jimmy Dore on there or
no? Oddly enough, he's not. I don't see Jimmy. Oddly enough, I don't see Jimmy, Russell Brand. Maybe they just blacklisted overall.
I think they just blacklisted.
I think they just straight up blacklisted. They just. I think this article was written as a warning about us. You know what I mean? Yo, we were just hoping they would go away. We was hoping these motherfuckers just give up. We thought they would get squashed by the algorithm. We thought they would be stuck at 5,000 subscribers. These niggas are not stopping. These niggas got chapters now. Nigga, let's make an article and let these niggas know how fucking crazy and dangerous they are. This part made me chuckle because this is back to the Mediaite, ranking us the most far left media propaganda network in the country. You want to know how they did it too? So CJ, they was watching our shit seething, fam. So they was explaining their So they was explaining their methodology, and I mostly skimmed this part. And I wish I would have read it when I did the segment, but it's all good. But look, it said we have over 60 analysts on staff, and they explained earlier, not in this part, but they explained earlier these 60 people are like a mix between people who are on the left, people on the center, on the right, pretty much Democrats, Republicans. You guys know how they view the Overton window. They have like 30 Democrats, 30 Republicans, right? And they collectively and manually rated over 60,000 pieces of news and information content. So we don't know how much of that they watched of us, but you can tell when they watch this graph and they explain in their methodology, they are watching our segments fucking seething, CJ. Like, because like these fucking crazy far right socialist propagandists. Anyway, I thought that was funny. Yeah. I love the fact that they confirmed that they definitely watched our shit here. Because they explained how they made the graph. They explained that it was a very scientific study. We had people watch. We'll make sure that they're either Democrat or Republican. Make sure they're not. We make sure we're checking people's biases. That's essentially what they did. That Democrat, Republican, and they watched our shit and they was in horror. Like, they're the farthest left shit we ever seen in our life. We never seen some far left shit like that before. Anyway, I'll move on. I just want to show you that.
No, that's great because Nick also this is so if you don't think RBN has influenced just even the NATO left, we like our influence because look, we're out on an island by ourselves, not touching anyone on that graph, Nick. Extreme.
Not even
left.
touching.
Why are they saying extreme left? Because we are not willing to compromise on Palestine, because we're not willing to compromise on being what it means to be anti-war. We're not willing to compromise on the police state. We're not willing to sell out, Nick. That's what makes us extreme.
Yeah.
And propaganda. Go ahead.
These clowns believed that Cenk Uygur was a far left radical.
Fuck out of here.
Because look at TYT on the chart. TYT is considered hyper partisan left. Like to the right to us, and that's why I'm glad you brought it up. Because if you look at the graph, I'll scroll up again. When you look at the graph, a lot of people are touching each other. They're like, "Oh, these people are kind of close. These people are kind of close." Like Jesse Waters is close to ON, but they acknowledge that Alex Jones is different than Jesse Waters. You know, like, you see how all of them touching. Look, they make sure that there's a gap between us and anyone else. So they
like, no, these guys.
They used to view Cenk Uygur. See, they're like, man, Cenk Uyger's crazy. You see how he talk about Nancy Pelosi? And then these people were forced to watch our segment, and they were like, they was in absolute horror. But anyway, it'd be interesting to see where they would put. I'm mad at them. They didn't put Jimmy Dore. I don't see Glenn. I don't see Breaking Points. I would love to see where they put them relative to us.